Okay, so here we are, season 4 of Friendship is Magic in the books. So here's the wild fucking thing. I went into this rewatch saying that season 4 was my least favorite season. I remember watching it and not quite loving it as much as 1 through 3. I still really liked it. There are a lot of really great episodes. There are a lot of really great moments. But for some reason, I remember just thinking, yeah, it was okay. Like, not even just it was okay. I guess to put it another way, it's like season 1, S tier. Season 2, S tier. Season 3, S tier. Season 4 was more like an A tier. Maybe a B tier. I don't know. And I was kind of looking forward to giving it this reevaluation. Like, was I too hard on it for some reason? Is it actually phenomenal? Is it dog shit and I was right to be as critical of it? Sorry, I was trying to say something and my brain just refused to form the words. So let me try that again. Hypothetical audience, season 4 might be the best ding-dang season of the show so far. What's really weird about that, though, is number 1, I'm not committed to that yet. I don't know if I would put season 4 above season 2. There's part of me that's like, I think so, and another part of me that's like, maybe not quite, but they're kind of comparable. But what's super interesting is when I look at the episodes and I think about what happened, and the episodes I loved and the episodes I didn't quite as love, I understand why I was so mixed on season 4 beforehand. I guess before Hoof, if we're using pony terms. I still love it, and my opinion of it has greatly increased. I think so far, I probably should have said this at the end of my season 3 video, I just kind of didn't. I think season 3 is the weakest season so far, and that's less because of its quality and just more because of its quantity. I think if you stack up season 3's 13 episodes against any first half or second half of any season, it probably holds up pretty well. But the fact that it's half as long, for me, does kind of mean it's half as good if the quality is comparable. I think season 2 is better than season 1. Season 4, I think I have it above season 1. But I get it. And I think it's because, and again, we'll go episode by episode, don't worry. Some of these episodes are just fucking wacky. We got 2 back-to-back that are super wacky. And I can understand why before I was like, I don't know, like, I kind of like them, but what the fuck was this shit? What the fuck was Simple Ways? It's hilarious, like, that's what it is. But what the fuck? Wait, 12, 13, 14, no, yeah, that's correct. It's an experience. It's the first season to really have a coherent narrative. Not every episode in the season is part of the narrative. Like, this episode has nothing to do with the keys, but has to do more of the Equestria game shit. This episode has nothing to do with anything. It's just kinda there. And that's not inherently a problem. Friendship is Magic, for the first few seasons was an inherently episodic show with some bits of continuity here and there. Season 3 feels like it's kind of, like, it has a strong sense of continuity. The Crystal Empire is about Twilight having a test, and Celestia and Luna are talking about, we think she's ready, maybe she's not quite yet ready, etc., etc., and by the end, they're holding this one book, which comes back in the season finale. But this sets up, like, an actual plot line. This kind of follows up on it. This a little bit. Yes. Yeah. Okay, this also has a lot of continuity with Discord and Twilight's relationship. Yes, I'm also going to be honest, I did not create these tier lists, so I had no idea what fucking episode this was for a second. I just kind of did the math. I was like, 16, that's Breezy's. Boy, I could not tell that by looking at this. That's a lot of continuity. That has continuity from other shit. And then, obviously, here. And then there's... Like, this is an episode that kind of has to deal a bit with Twilight being a princess. This one definitely does. These obviously do. This one as well. And I like that a lot. I think some of the execution of these plot lines kind of leaves a lot to be desired at times. It's kind of an episode by episode basis. Again, the whole build up to the Equestria Games. I don't know how well that works, given that it's less like, here's a cool episode just about the Olympics and just, here's an episode examining Spike with the Olympics that we've been building up as a backdrop. And I like what they do with Spike, which is not something I thought I was going to say, because I remember Equestria Games being an absolute dog shit, bottom of the fucking barrel, genuine contender for worst episode of the show. And I don't think that anymore. And I was very confused by all of that. And there's some of the key episodes that I'm really not a fan of. But overall, I think season 4 is really, really good. Oh, I did not like that. Sorry, as I was talking, one of the lights just started flickering, and, you know, I'm gonna turn on this light, because I don't want to be alone in the dark, because, I'm at Clay's right now, but Clay is at work. I asked him to set up the computer for me so I could do these recordings. He's not here at the moment. Jose's not here, so it's just me, and, like, boy, I do not want to be alone as a light flickers off, because I know I'm gonna hear something, and it's probably just gonna be one of the dogs, like, hungry and their fucking throat is rumbling, or it's gonna be Princess falling asleep and her just weird snoring noises. But I'm gonna hear something, I'm gonna think it's a demon, and I'm gonna be terrified. So let me turn this light on real quick. We gotta talk about these episodes, and first we gotta talk about these tiers and what they mean. What is BOTFB? It means bottom of the fucking barrel, and as we learned from the cutie map, spoiler alert from season 5, laughs don't come in barrels. I really, really love everything about the cutie map. It's so fucking good. I will go and say, I don't know if I will have a bottom of the fucking barrel this season, especially after the fucking redemption arc that this episode gets from me. But just in case, because there might be. What does it mean for me? It means there's 3 requirements for bottom of the fucking barrel. Number 1, you have to be at the bottom of my list. 2, you have to be actively disliked. And 3, so vehemently disliked with so much vitriol and bitterness, and it's so thorough dog shit that there is nothing that could be worse than you. And somehow, I'm sorry, but like, every time I think about that, because to me, that's what bottom of the fucking barrel is. Like, how did I have, like, 4 or 5 bottom of the fucking barrel movies for 2023? How did that happen? That's not how that's supposed to work. I'm like, I hate you all evenly for different reasons. Oh, it was wild. F. F is for failure, and it's fucking dog shit. There's nothing else to say. D and C, my mid-twins. D is the more, it's just disappointing. It's kind of mediocre. Whereas C is I'm very neutral on it. Either it just doesn't do much for me, or there's a lot of good and a lot of bad that kind of balance each other out. But it doesn't quite rise to the B tier level of respect, which is, I respect it more than I like it. Probably that there's something genuinely holding it back from A tier, but, excuse me, like the strong elements keep it out of just being neutral. A means I just fucking love it. I like this a lot. I can gush about it. It's like how I talk about Cold Steel 2. Like, I've got a crush on it, man. I just fucking adore it. S tier, you're in contention for being my favorite of whatever we're talking about. And the double S, this is the king shit. And I'm gonna be honest, there's gonna be like a fight for my double S this season. I might pull a season 2 and have a few up there. I don't know. Because there's one episode where I'm like, this is genuinely one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. But then there's like another where I'm like, fuck, man. This might be better. I don't know. So we're just going to go and get started. So like I try to do, I try to have whatever I'm talking about in the middle of the screen. So we talk about it. And now with my overview of Season 4 done, with all of my window dressing and housekeeping done, let's get started with the 2-part season premiere, Princess Twilight Sparkle. Hot damn, this is such a great premiere. I really, really love this premiere. I think what I love about it so much, like why it works for me, is it addresses the concerns for Magical Mystery Cure. Not the issues, because the issues of, like I said, in Magical Mystery Cure are, it's so fucking fast. There is no time to breathe. I think the pacing of that episode is terrible. But the concern about, okay, Twilight's an alicorn now. She's a princess. What does that mean for her character? What does that mean for her place amongst her friends? Where do we go from here? Twilight herself doesn't know. And what I really love about this episode is her friends don't know how to treat her after this. They're like, so, like, do we call you, because I think they start calling her princess, and she's like, guys, no. Like, I understand I'm a princess now, and there are people who are going to refer to me as such. I never want you to refer to me as princess. Because, like, you guys, no, like, that's weird. I don't want you to, you know that fucking scene from The Lion King with Pumbaa? Your Majesty, I grovel at your feet. Well, first of all, it's grovel. You're like, I don't want you doing any of that grovelly shit to me because you are my friends. I might be the one that has the wings, the crown, and the horn, but I don't feel like I am on a pedestal above any of you. And her friends on the one hand, or the one hoof, are like, well, yeah, that's true, because no matter what your title is or how you look, you are Twilight Sparkle, and we will always be Twilight Sparkle to us before you're Princess Twilight. And I like that. But on the other hand, they are like, but you are a princess now. There is something different here. Maybe we can't just treat you the same. It's also an episode with Discord. And Discord, to me, this is what Discord, aside from his being the main antagonist in Return of Harmony, which is just, again, Return of Harmony is still a genuine contender for being my absolute favorite episode of the show 4 seasons in. I don't know if anything's beaten it, but I also don't know if it's beaten Lesson Zero either. Or, again, like, the double S contenders from this season because they're so fucking excellent. Discord as the dickhead trickster mentor is perfect. His role in this episode, aside from, you know, just like doing goofy, funny shit, like when they summon him, he's taking a shower and singing Winter Wrap-Up, like, yeah, that's just funny. He is the one that is really poking her. As the, like, yeah, you're a princess. Gee, you must feel like you're better than everyone else. Like, he's voicing her doubts and concerns and throwing it right back at her and her friends. And I love that. I love how he makes them kind of confront those things. I also love how, so like the plot of the episode, I should probably go ahead and talk about that, is the Everfree Forest is going berserk. There's these evil black vines coming out and grabbing shit, and Luna has disappeared, and Celestia has disappeared. Because it's an epic 2-parter, like, they're not gonna be in there. They're gonna be taken out by something. We all know it. So they're getting attacked, and Twilight is now, and, you know, Cadence is dealing with the Crystal Empire. Celestia and Luna are gone. Everyone is looking to Twilight, who's like, cool, I gotta go do this shit. I gotta go fix this shit. Bet. And they summon Discord. You're like, okay, maybe he can help. Maybe he knows something. And it is on sight for everybody not named Fluttershy. Even Pinkie, like, just fucking hates this dude. I think it's really funny, and boy, are we gonna see the ramifications of that later in the season, which, again, is great, because it all kind of works together, it makes sense. I don't remember who first says it. It's either Rainbow Dash or Applejack, or like, you know what? Fuck this dude. He's probably the reason all this happened. I say we just send him back to Stone, and then you have Rarity going, here, here, and then the three of them immediately start trying to do the Elements of Harmony and send it to the Shadow Realm. It is on sight, and it's so funny to me. And then Discord's over here like, hey guys, I know I'm an asshole, and I'm doing this all on purpose, but I mean, I thought we were friends. I thought friends gave each other the benefit of the doubt. I mean, sorry if I don't know exactly what's happening, which of course he does know exactly what's happening because he's Discord. This is all his fault. But it's just a blast. And, Twilight ends up running into Zecora, who gives her this potion, and Twilight drinks the potion, it lets her see shit in the past, and I'm like, oh, so it's not exactly, but she's basically using memory orbs from Fallout Equestria, and she sees Celestia and Luna, like when Luna first turned into Nightmare Moon, and that's a really fun sequence. I think it looks super pretty. You actually get this fight between Celestia and Luna, and it's really cool. It's not the best fight of the season, which is such a weird thing to be saying for Friendship is Magic. Like, dude, yeah, there was like a fucking alicorn fight, and it's not the best fight in the season, because apparently now we have actual fight scenes in Friendship is Magic. The fuck? Okay, let's go. But I like the flashback shit a lot. There's one flashback of when Celestia and Luna first took on Discord, and it's fun. He's just not taking them seriously. He's fucking with them the entire time. After all the flashbacks, excuse me, Twilight learns about the Tree of Harmony. This is where the elements come from. You're like, oh shit, that's what we gotta go do. Let's use the tree and help the tree, and it'll fight the vines, and blah, 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 blah. And the Remain 5 don't want Twilight coming with them. And I think that's really interesting. They made a collective... Sorry, I'm laughing because, if you follow, like, Bleacher Report and Sports Center, they'll have these pages, or, like, they'll have these posts where, like, a player or a reporter will say something, and it's just, like, their face and the quote, and you will see that shit reposted as memes constantly. And a recent one is from Saints quarterback Jameis Winston after the whole, running up the score thing against Atlanta, and Dennis Allen apologized publicly to the Falcons, and I'm not going to get into that again. But the post, it's just like Jameis with this goofy ass grin, and the quote is, "We made a collective decision." So, the gaggle of gals, because I didn't forget that phrase. I didn't use it at all when I'm talking about season 3. That's my B. But the Remain 5 are like, we made a collective decision. Twilight, we cannot bring you on this adventure because you are too important. You are the last remaining princess in Equestria. Again, Cadence in the Crystal Empire. It's like, this all falls on you. Let us do this. Let us handle this. We don't want you to be in unnecessary danger. Which pisses Twilight off. And she's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I almost said a trio, but what do you call it when it's 6? I mean, it's not sextuplets. That'd be like triplets. Hold up. I'm gonna look this up. What do you call a group of 6 people? Okay, a sextet or a hexad. Okay, we're a sextet. God, I don't like how that sounds. It's because sex is in it. It makes it sound like it's an orgy, and I don't like that one bit. We're not gonna do that. We're a gaggle. We're gonna keep using gaggle, baby. I can't be stopped. We're a gaggle. You can't get rid of me. Like, we are a fucking team. We have been a team since day one, since night one. I don't want to be excluded from this, but if every one of my friends is telling me that they don't want me around, then I guess I'm not gonna go and help. So she goes back to Ponyville, and Discord is in his element, just like, "Aw, they didn't want you." And, like, Twilight, you know, the reason they didn't want you around is, yeah, because they think you're too important. And you let them do that? That means you do think you're too important. No, I don't. Then why did you agree with them? Why didn't you just say, "Fuck you, I'm staying," or, "Well, fuck you, as your princess, I'm staying." Like, be my escorts then, idiots. You think you're better than them. And if you don't think you're better than them, you will go right back into that ding-dang forest and meet up with them and do shit. So that happens, and then she gets attacked by... I think there were a few times in this episode, I don't remember if it was this or something else Clay and I were watching, but I think it was this, where vines were just, like, coming up and, like, attacking people and grabbing people, and I just kind of looked at Clay and said, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was something along the lines of, "Dude, I've seen enough Evil Dead to know where this is going, and it's not going somewhere good." But, she's getting attacked by these, like, fucking Evil Dead vines. The Remain 5 help her out. They go to the tree. They sacrifice the elements of harmony to give the tree power, which purges the plunder seeds. I believe that was the name of the evil plants. Discord reveals that, yeah, I'm the one who fucking planted the seeds. I did it forever ago when Celestia and Luna killed me. You mean you knew what was going on the entire time? Of course I knew what was going on the entire time, but if I just told you, you wouldn't have, like... I would have robbed you of your character development and all of, like, this adventure with your friends and you guys figuring shit out. Believe it or not, it was important that I did it, and I did it exactly like this. Maybe he's right! And I think it's great. After the elements are given up and the tree is saved and Celestia and Luna are saved and whatnot, there ends up being this... Is it a box? I think it's like a giant crystal with 6 keys in it. And this is one of the big things of the season is what's in the box. Is the main 6 slowly but surely, each of them going through like a trial of their element, passing and getting their key. Which they don't know it's their keys until the end of the season, but it's the key episodes. And... so this is what that sets up. It also sets up a bit that since the castle of the two sisters is in the Everfree Forest, you know, where they fought Nightmare Moon in episodes 1 and 2, or episode 2, they don't go there in episode 1. Oh, excuse me. Since that's the castle that's nearest to Ponyville, it essentially becomes Twilight's castle, and every now and then, her and her friends are, like, in there, trying to touch it up, make it look nice, do some exploring, all that good fun shit. And then, you know, by the end, it doesn't really mean anything because Twilight gets her own castle that I think the next episode of season 5 is the one where they're trying to make the castle, like, look nice and feel more homey. I think if I kind of would have just preferred if she got Celestia's and Luna's, because I think it's really cool. I don't know, maybe the Elements of Harmony could have still put the map in there. I don't know. But anyways, this is such a fucking S-tier premiere. I love it. I really do. I think it kicks so much ass. It's phenomenal. Castlemania. Let me get some water. Let me get some water before I talk about this shit. Castlemania is hilarious. It is an episode with something that I realize doesn't happen in Friendship is Magic that often. A-plots and B-plots. Very frequently, an episode of Friendship is Magic will be, we are following character A, and we are just exploring character A throughout this day or these few days, going through whatever problem or conflict they are experiencing. every now and then we might like cut to a quick scene with someone else. But normally, if we are showing other characters, it is because character A is interacting with these other characters. Castlemania just kind of said, nah, fuck that. We have 3 different plot lines. We got an A, a B, and a C plot. Twilight and Spike are going to the castle of the two sisters. So Twilight can, explore it, touch stuff up. And, this is more or less going to be my castle. Let's see what the fuck is in here. Rainbow Dash and Applejack are going into it because they are having a contest to see which of them is the braver, more daring pony, which feels like a shout out to Fall Weather Friends, which is an S tier season 1 episode, by the way. And the two of them are like, well, this ended in a tie, and we don't want to leave it in a tie. Fuck it, you want to just go to the castle and see who can brave all the weird bullshit in there better? Yeah, let's do it. Fuck you. Fuck you. And I mean, given how the story ends, at this point, they might already be. And then you have Rarity and Fluttershy, who Rarity wants to go back to the castle because of she wants to look at the old, art, the tapestries and whatnot, and she wants to, A, refurbish them because they're a bit ratty. They haven't really been touched or maintained in decades. I want to take them home. I want to redo them so they look pretty as fuck. Also, if I look at them and I can get some inspiration while working on them, I would love that. And Fluttershy going to help, and she brings Angel with her because sure dog. Meanwhile, Pinkie does not go because, as she tells Applejack and Rainbow Dash, they need someone to ring the bell, the new bell for Ponyville Schoolhouse, and no one else volunteered to test out the new bell, and I'm gonna go do that all day. I just want to ring the bell. I'll fucking see. And that's the episode. That's the setup. And it'll just be here's Twilight and Spike for a bit. Where Twilight's just big chillin' reading Celestia and Luna's old journal. Spike is freaking out over every little thing. Rarity and Fluttershy are trying to grab the tapestries, but then they are activating traps so they get separated from Angel, and now Fluttershy is looking for Angel, and Applejack and Rainbow Dash are trying to out-brave each other, but are scared of everything because they keep encountering all these fucking traps and bullshit inside the castle. From what I heard, essentially the idea for this episode, we just want to write some goofy Scooby-Doo shit, and oh boy, does it excel at being goofy Scooby-Doo shit! It's so fun! And what's weird is this episode felt long. And I think it's because there's no central storyline. It's just we're here for a few minutes, we're here for a few minutes. We kept jumping around, I have no idea how long this episode is. I don't know what act of the story we're in, but I'm having a blast. Meanwhile, there's this cloaked figure that is just slinking around the castle, and the rumor is that, when Luna was defeated, a part of her, when Nightmare Moon, I believe, was sent to the moon, there was a part that lingered, and that is the quote-unquote Pony of Shadows, which is kind of interesting, because I know there's a Pony of Shadows in Season 7 that has nothing to do with Luna, but that lingering part of Nightmare Moon is, from what I remember, that's kind of what the Tantabus is, so that might have been foreshadowing, and I mean, given that there's another Crusader dealing with Luna episode, I feel like that is probably intentional at this point. So we'll see. We'll definitely see when I get to the Tantabus episode, kind of how much that makes sense. But, you've got this, figure slinking around playing the organ, and, they hit a note on the organ, and some weird shit happens, and there's a part where Fluttershy sees this shadow that looks like Angel, and it's not Angel, but it gets crushed, and so she thinks Angel fucking died, and she starts crying. And at one point, she's like crying over this thing. She's like, Angel, I'll try to save you. And Applejack, while running around in terror, just fucking jumps on it, stomps on it, and runs runs off as Fluttershy is now even more devastated. I think it's like in that scene, a tapestry is falling on Rarity and she's crying and just says, I just wanted to restore ancient art. It's amazing. It's so funny. And then the episode ends with, Twilight seeing her gaggle and is like, what are you idiots all doing? Gets the group together. Then they go to explore, the organ and see what's going on. And the cloaked figure, they rip off the cloak and it's Pinkie, who's like, yeah, dude, I've been here, almost all day. I thought you were ringing the school bell. Well, I was. And then just, does a cutaway gag of Pinkie with her fucking head inside the bell, just go, 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 go. Yeah, they asked me to stop after a few minutes. Don't know why, so I just came over here, because everyone was over here, and I just been playing the organ. I know how to play an organ now. Fuck, I love this! And then at the very end of the episode, after, everything's been resolved and everyone is laughing, you see another cloaked figure skulking around in the shadows with these yellow eyes. And by the end of the season, you realize, oh, that's Tyrek. So it was already set. So, this was setting up the main arc with the keys. The end of this episode ends up setting up the main antagonist. And they do confirm, yeah, when Cerberus wasn't guarding Tartarus anymore during It's About Time, that's when Tyrek got out. So yeah, that episode is super important. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, I should have kept it an S for season 2. I think it is an S tier season 2 episode for me. I really, really like that episode. And while we're speaking of S tiers, dude, I'm laughing so hard just remembering the insanity that was this episode. My face hurts from laughing and smiling talking about it. You can't be lower than an S if you get that kind of reaction out of me. It is. Ugh. Water, 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 water. I should drink. Do 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 do. Daring. I think I was putting him in B. C feels more right. C feels more like the middle of the screen. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. We'll leave it there. It might not actually leave there. I'm not really a fan of Daring Don't. So the plot of this episode is Rainbow Dash is waiting for the next Daring Do book. And then she finds out that the book is getting delayed by a month or 2. She is very upsetty spaghetti about this. And she's like, dude, you know what we need to do? We need to go visit the author, go to her house, and just help her write her book. It's probably delayed because she's just super busy doing other basic shit that she doesn't have time to write. What if we're over there, we do all her basic shit for her, so she has all the time in the world to write? Come on, Twilight, you're a princess. You're a egghead researcher who knows things. You can find out where this author lives. AK Yearling, by the way. And Twilight's like, this is fucking stupid. I'll do it, but this is really dumb. And the rest of the gaggle are like, sure, I guess we're coming too. We don't really have anything to do with this episode and kind of have, I guess they help out of the climax, but it's like, sure, why not? We'll go too. So they go to the edge of the world, find AK Yearling, and it turns out that AK Yearling is Daring Do, and the entire Daring Do series is actually an autobiography, but it's so insane that it's released as fiction because no one would believe it otherwise. Which means that the characters that show up in the Daring Do novels are real-ass people that... I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about it from, a lawyer perspective, and, you're rights to your own privacy and your intellectual property, like, as a person, and your privacy and whatnot. And I know there's an episode that deals with that later, where Caballeron, like, writes his own, essentially his own version of events. And I don't remember exactly how that episode goes, but I know it's a thing that happens. But you're also like, yeah, it's just, like, has no one tried to sue her for defamation or for, like, the royalty rights of, like, yeah, like, you're writing about my life too. I'm part of the story. Why don't I get money for it? Like, I don't know. Like, it's insane, but it's insane. Like, I don't think I like this idea. And I don't really remember what they do with it, of Daring Do being a real ass person. Aside from, yeah, I know there's a thing with Caballeron later. So I don't even remember if this is a good idea that they follow up on. The way I've talked about other things like Discord being reformed. I love that, seeing what they do with it. Twilight as a princess. A lot of what they do with it in this season made me really like it. And I know, like, all the shit with the map, and there's a point where she's like, I'm gonna open a school, and if I'm the fucking princess of friendship, it is something I want to share with the world, and I want to share with, like, the next generation. Like, I like what they do with this. I like the progression of it. It works. Like, Sunset Shimmer's redemption at the end of Equestria Girls. I don't buy it for a fucking second. But I've seen Rainbow Rocks. Not part of this rewatch. I have to at some point. But I've seen Rainbow Rocks. I know what they do with it. It kind of works. Same with Glam Glam at the end of season 5. Like, I don't know how well it works. And then I see it later. I'm like, no, like, yeah, she has to earn it because Starlight's a fucking character. It's great. I don't remember what the fuck they do with this. I don't remember if it's a good idea. I don't really find this episode that fun. You'd think I would. Like, that sounds like it's such a fun idea for an episode, or that they go on cool adventures. Like, the adventure's fine. The climax is kind of fun. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm neutral on it. I think I'm a bit more, like, it's not nearly this bad or this bad. But I'm like, I don't know. I just feel disappointed with it. Like, why was this not amazing? It's just, it underwhelms me, man. It underwhelms me. So let's get to Flight to the Finish. So this is an Equestria Games themed episode with the Ponyville Schoolhouse hosting a competition for all the kiddos where, like, break into groups, or you can do single, whatever you want. Come up with a routine to represent Ponyville. Whoever has the best routine will represent Ponyville at the Equestria Games. Like, you'll be like our flag bearers during the opening ceremony. And, Miss Harshwinny from Games Ponies Play, who doesn't really get to leave much of an impression in that episode because of mistaken identity. She's barely in it. She's so funny here. She is so expressive. There is this one scene where Rainbow Dash is talking to her because Rainbow Dash is the judge who will determine who had the best routine. Harshwinny is more of, like, the MC of the event. And, Harshwinny keeps telling her, like, Miss Dash, you have to be professional in these things. And there's this scene where Rainbow Dash is talking, and Harshwinny says nothing. But in about 20 seconds, she makes about 5 different faces. Each one is funnier than the last. It's gold. Just, like, listening to her talk is funny. Watching her face as she enunciates is platinum. I love it. But as you can see, this is not a Rainbow Dash episode. It's a Simsa episode. So what did the Simsa do? They come up with a routine about unicorns, Pegasi, and Earth ponies all working in tandem, because that's what Ponyville is. It's a melting pot. It's unity and harmony and all that shit. and their routine looks really good. And Rainbow Dash is like, fuck, this is really, 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 really good, but I have to be professional. I can't just be like, yeah, that kicked ass, holy shit. I have to be like, it was good. You know, for something you just put together, you just put that together. Fuck, that was good. I mean, it's good. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Yo, best of luck. Yo, professionalism. You nailed it, Dash. Yeah, she's, like, being the coach, and she's even wearing, like, the hat and the whistle from, Hurricane Fluttershy. She's kind of reprising, like, her vibe from Hurricane Fluttershy. Like, I don't know. I know Dash's dream is to become a Wonderbolt, and she does achieve it. I want to say that's season 7? That might be season 6. I'm not a hundo on that when that episode was. But, I wonder if her true calling was just being a coach. Because I think she does, like, a really good job of that. Like, she's really good at, like, riling people, not, like, about, like, hyping people up and bringing out the best in them. I don't know. Maybe that was her true calling. Or, I don't know. Maybe she can just be both. It's fine. But, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon are not happy that they're being upstaged, that the Crusader shit is just better. There's a scene I find really interesting where they're talking shit to the Crusaders, like blank flanks, blah, 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 and the Crusaders don't care. There's like, yeah, you know, blank flank, whatever, go fuck yourselves. And afterwards, Diamond Tiara, I don't remember what Diamond Tiara says, but something along the lines of, okay, they're a problem, their routine was really good, we need to do something about it. Silver Spoon, like, what are we supposed to do? We already called them blank flanks. That's super interesting to me. Like, the Crusaders have gotten to a point where, like, the thing that they were super sensitive about that brought them together doesn't matter anymore. Like, it still matters. They want their ding-dang cutie marks. And even, like, maybe we can get her cutie marks and being really good at delivering the flag and blah, 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 blah. But it's not really a point of, like, embarrassment or contention for them anymore. And there's kind of also that sense, which, to be fair, I feel like is something that's been established at this point anyways. That's not the reason that they hang out. And it's not the reason that they're friends at this point. It is less of, well, all three of us are the blank flanks, so we have no one but each other. And it's like, no, like, we're genuinely friends that enjoy each other's company. They're pieces of shit. And their literal schoolyard bully taunts don't work on us anymore. And without the schoolyard bully taunts working, Silver Spoon's like, I'm out of ideas. What the hell do we even do at that point? To which, Diamond Tiara is not out of ideas. She's like, well, here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna point out the fact that they have a Pegasus pony who can't fly, and are trying to talk about, you know, unity between races and shit. That's the weakness we go for. And I talked about this a little bit in Season 3. I'm really because, again, I don't remember how it goes in later seasons. I'm unclear if Scootaloo's inability to fly is just, she's a late bloomer, her wings haven't fully grown in yet, or if this is a genuine disability and she's never able to properly fly. If it's the former, it's kind of a piece of shit dick move for Diamond Tiara to bring up. If it's the latter, and like, no, this is a genuine disability, it just disgusts me. Like, you are I know you're an awful person, Diamond Tiara. And I know we'll get, like, a little deeper into your psychology in Season 5, and we're gonna try to make you more sympathetic and shit. You are an awful, horrible monster of a person. Fuck you. It breaks Scootaloo's heart, and her friends are like, hey, her friends are doing everything they can to say, it doesn't fucking matter. She is still a Pegasus, she is still our friend, and it breaks Scootaloo's heart that she can't fly. And she's like, okay, we have to fix the routine because I can't fly, and I'm going to do everything I can to be able to fly. And Sweetie Belle's like, I don't really think we should do this. I think it's fine. And Apple Bloom was just getting more and more pissed off. She's like, look, I'm going to be honest. If you want to make this all about yourself, Scootaloo, you can do this all by yourself because I'm not doing this shit. This is bullshit. This is ass. You're one of my best friends, but sincerely, fuck you right now. Like they get into a fight. Rainbow Dash. I haven't said anything about the song. I'm gonna put a pin in the song. Like the screen cap is literally from the fucking song, and I haven't brought it up yet. Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom go to the Crystal Empire to do the thing without Scootaloo, and Rainbow Dash is like, hey, the routine was fucking great. Your weird revised routine was kind of dog shit. I hope you're doing the first one. By the way, where's Scootaloo? We left her behind. We shouldn't have done it. We know we shouldn't have done it, but she's mad at us and at herself, and we're mad at her, and we're sleep deprived, and it's all fucked, and we fucked up. Yeah, you guys fucked up. Let's go get her. So they go get her, and Rainbow Dash cheers her up. And Scootaloo fucking rides her scooter all the way to the Crystal Empire on time. And I'm like, I get it. It's a very sweet moment. She's very good with her scooter. I kind of don't buy this. Like, that's kind of bullshit. Then again, I don't know how far the Crystal Empire is, so maybe I can buy it. Like, is it? Like, I'm imagining it's several days away, but I don't know. Maybe it's only, like, an hour and a half train ride. They go. They do their routine. They win. No cutie marks were gained, but they gained the power of self-respect, which might, if Scott Pilgrim taught me anything, that's just as important. And that's the episode. I really like Heart Strongest Horses. We take the pin out. I just really like this song. I think it's very catchy. I think it's very uplifting and upbeat. Even though there's parts where they're talking about, like, how kind of shitty they are. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, we're kind of short, but so what? We don't get defeated. We could take a little break, but we don't need it. We got hearts. Boom, boom, as strong as... I love it. I really do. And I don't even know if it's the best song in the season because, fuck... With one exception off the top of my head, that's just a song I don't like. I feel like the songs this season went, like, really hard. Oh, it's so good. I think this is another S tier episode. Oh, we have a problem. We're gonna have a lot of S tier episodes this season, ain't we? I don't know. Maybe there'll be the one episode like Hurricane Fluttershy where... when I see it up there, I'm like, okay, maybe some of these aren't S tiers after all. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a really, really good episode. To me, it's one flaw, aside from, I don't know how far away the Crystal Empire is, so that's maybe kind of bullshit. Diamond Tiara gets kind of no penance for making fun of someone's disability. Except that she loses and she's like, like that sucks and I'm disappointed. Like no one calls her out on that. She doesn't get in trouble for it. I don't like that. I don't think it's enough to take it down to an A tier. But I don't know. Maybe if the competition gets a bit more fierce for these S tier spots, like we'll see. But also the S tier isn't a curve. Like the whole season could be S tier episodes if every episode's just that good. And then you've got this one. But now we got this one. We have Power Ponies. So this is an episode where Spike is reading an enchanted comic that sucks them all into the comic. And the main six become the Power Ponies. Let's see if I can actually remember their names. So Pinkie Pie is Philly Second, who is supposed to be the Flash. Fuck, what is Rarity? I don't remember. It's either her or Twilight is the masked Matterhorn. I don't remember which is which, but she's Green Lantern. What was Rainbow Dash's name? I don't remember what Rainbow Dash's name is. But she has, like, weather and lightning powers, so I think she's more Storm than she is Thor, because she also doesn't have a weapon, but from what I understand, in one of the comics, she's more Thor with, like, how she talks. Applejack is Miss Marvelous, so she's Wonder Woman. She even has, you know, like, the fucking lasso and shit. Twilight is, again, I don't remember if she's Masked Matterhorn or is someone else. She can make... Oh, yeah, it's, like, super speed, because Flash. Green Lantern, like, she can make things with her mind. She has a bracelet instead of a ring. Storm powers, the lasso, strength, and she's got, like, the wrists, the bandana shit. Not bandana, like the armbands. She can shoot a lot of different kinds of beams, so she's Cyclops. And Fluttershy is the Saddle Rager, and she's the Hulk. And there is a whole part in the climax where she finally hulks out and just starts breaking shit. The villain they fight is the Maniac, which is essentially take the Joker, but her hair is fucking wild, and she uses her hair the way Doc Ock uses his tentacles, or like his, like, the metal legs. And honestly, it's pretty fun. And Spike is Humdrum, their bumbling, useless sidekick, who at one point trips on his cape. So immediately my brain just went, no capes! So I love that, how that happened. And he's Robin, specifically, like, Adam West Batman Robin. Like, I think the first thing he says is like, holy something something pony. He's like, okay, he's Robin. The episode, it's like, okay, we're sucked into a comic. We have to beat the villain so we can escape and, you know, learn how our powers work and blah, 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 blah. Morally and thematically, it is an episode about Spike realizing that when push comes to shove, I am part of this group of friends. And even though I oftentimes feel like I am their bumbling sidekick and they're the ones that are actually cool, I am just as loved and appreciated as any other member of this group. And when my number is called, I can step up and contribute. For me, it is not an S tier episode. Like, it's not as, like, great as this. It doesn't hit me as hard as this, and I wasn't laughing as much as I was as this. I just think it's a really fun fucking time. It's the main six become the Justice League / Avengers for an episode. Like, that's it. But that's all it needs to be. Like, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. I think it's a bit too silly. It's kind of a bit too much. We're like, no, it is, but it's great, and I love it for being exactly what it is. So now we get to move on to bats. So this episode is like 2 different episodes at once. It's not even like, here's the A plot and the B plot. It's, okay, here's the plot that we have, and halfway through, nah, fuck it, we thought of something way better, and now that's what we're doing. So the first half of the episode is there's these vampire fruit bats that are fucking up Sweet Apple Acres. Applejack wants Fluttershy to go in and kick them out. Like, hey, do your whatever shit you need to do. Negotiate with them, use their stare. I don't know. I don't care. I don't want them fucking up my trees no more. You know, like, Granny has told me stories about vampire fruit bat infestations and how they can fuck up the orchard, and I don't want to go through that. Also, I'm about to enter this big-ass apple into the Appaloosa State Fair, or whatever the fuck it was exactly. It was something Appaloosa. And I don't want this apple to get eaten by these bats. Fluttershy, please help. And Fluttershy saying, well, I mean, this is their home, so I kind of feel bad kicking them out. And while the fruit bats are eating a lot of your apples, It is part of nature, and not just in a way where it's like, hey, sucks to suck. It's like, no, like, genuinely, like, when they eat them and, like, they spit the seeds back out, they are helping regrow the trees, and, like, the orchard, like, the trees will grow back. They'll grow strong. They'll grow fast. Short term, your situation sucks, but in the long term, it's probably better to let the bats stay here. So the conflict of the episode at first is, who's exactly right here? Applejack saying, like, I need, like, this is a short-term problem, and I really need this fixed because it's affecting my livelihood? Or Fluttershy saying, the animals' needs are also important, and think about the long term. Then, everyone fucking takes crazy pills. Okay, so before the crazy pills, first off, they have a song, Stop the Bats, Stop the Bats, and it's great. I love it. It's this, like, Danny Elfman Nightmare Before Christmas ass shit, and I don't know if I've really talked about The Nightmare Before Christmas that much on this channel, but it's genuinely one of my favorite movies of all time. I adore it, and I love, like, everything about it. So it's like, it giving me that vibe is just I love it. So by the end of the song, the rest of their gaggle is just on Applejack's side, so it's Fluttershy against the remaining 5. Twilight takes some crazy pills, so she's like, okay, I have an idea. I don't remember if someone comes up with it or Twilight does. I think Twilight does. She's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna cast a spell that makes the vampire fruit bats not want to eat apples anymore. So we are gonna take this species and collectively brainwash them so they don't want to eat their food anymore. There is no discussion or real implication that the desire for apples gets replaced by something. Like, it's not like with the Parasprites, where Twilight, in her youth and younger days, is like, oh, let me just not make them want to eat the food. And then the Parasprites are like, oh, we don't want food. We'll just eat shit that isn't food. It comes across more as like, yeah, they just don't want to eat anything now. I'm like, are they now just not going to eat? Do they not have a food source that they want anymore? Twilight, come here for a second. Come here for a second, Sparks. This feels like the dumb shit you would do in season 1 or season 2. But now that you're a princess, like, I get it. We still want you to feel like the same character. This feels dumb, like, not something you should be doing, you know? What the fuck are we doing here? But while the spell happens and the bats are being brainwashed, Fluttershy is using her stare to keep the bats in place. And because Fluttershy is in proximity of the spell, when Twilight sucks the desire to drink apples from the bats, it ends up going into Fluttershy, who not only develops this craving for fresh, juicy apples, fucking turns into a vampire bat. And so we get Flutterbat. So that's what the episode becomes about, instead of, you know, who's right between Fluttershy and Applejack and what's their compromise. Like, fuck, I got a way, but wait, I've got a better plan to catch this big red lobster man. It's like, instead, let's do this insane plot line where Fluttershy is now a vampire and they just have to deal with that. And it's great, and it's insane, and I love it, but also, what the fuck is happening? I'm torn on this episode. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the episode. I don't love the episode, but I also do. It's weird. I think this is kind of how I feel about it. Just kind of go bit by bit. The song kicks ass, and I love it. All the insane shit with Flutterbat, I love it. Applejack and Fluttershy having a genuine conflict, and the way I see it, I'm like, I don't know if either side is really in the wrong. I love it. But the devil is in the details, and just kind of the execution of it feels kind of wonky. And I think for me it is the fact that Twilight's like, dude, I have this great idea. Let me fucking brainwash them so they don't want to eat their food source anymore. That's a great idea. Like, that again, like, it. I feel like if this was a season 1 episode, I think that's really it. If this was a season 1 episode, this would be like an S tier season 1 episode. But I feel like at this point, Twilight is smart enough to not do this, and it bothers me. And I feel like I kind of just wanted to see Fluttershy and Applejack have to, like, really I mean, they have their discussion, that's what the song is, but to really, like, reach their compromise, and that be the conflict of the episode, rather than this fucking insanity, because I actually like the conflict. But the insane, like, the literal batshit craziness is so fun that I can kind of forgive it. Like, I don't think I can put it here. As fun as Flutterbat is, as fun as the Bat song is, I'm like, there's problems with this episode, but it's here. Like, it's so fun. Also, I know there's I used to listen to a lot of Friendship is Magic music. Not just, like, music from the show, like Winter Wrap and whatnot, but, like, fan-made music. And there's this one, I think it was by Eurobeat or Odyssey, if that's right, called Batty, which is, it's a Flutterbat song. I really like it. Actually, it's been a while since I've listened to it, but I really dig it, so I gotta give that shit a shout out. I almost said Made in Manehattan, but, like, no, that's not the name of this episode. I think that's a season 5 episode, or like a season 6 episode. No, this is Rarity Takes Manehattan. This is the first key episode. This is Rarity's key episode. I need some water real quick. Before I rant about how much I don't like this episode, because, boy, I don't like this episode, I need some water first. Okay. So, plot of the episode. Rarity is going to Manehattan for Fashion Week, which is like a competition where a bunch of designers are going with all their clothes, compete, and whoever wins, I don't remember. I don't know if it's just like you get a trophy and some shit, or if it's like, no, like you're gonna be put in like a magazine. It's something. So she goes, and she's also like, by the way, like, we're gonna be in Manhattan, we're gonna be in New York. I got us all Broadway tickets to, like, the really popular show. I think it's called Henny of the Hills. So I believe it's supposed to be The Sound of Music, like a parody of that. I could be totally wrong. Maybe it has nothing at all to do with The Sound of Music. But I might just call it Hamilton. Like, thinking of, I mean, I don't think it's on Broadway right now, but I love Hamilton. But she gets them tickets, and the remaining 5 are like, dude, thank you. You didn't have to do that, but this is you, like, literally in your element. You are just being generous. Thank you. We appreciate that. Even Rainbow Dash is excited to go watch a fucking Broadway show because we've heard it is that good. Hell yeah. We are so excited to go to New York. We are so excited to watch this show. Let's fucking go. So go to New York, and Rarity has this song about generosity and why it's great, and she's being super generous and just giving people all kinds of shit, and talks about how, you know, one of the great things about generosity is you help somebody, and then they'll help you back, like, when you need it most, and shit like that. Okay, I'm just gonna go beat by beat. I was like, let me just talk about the plot and then dissect it. I can't. I have to dissect it as I go. I fucking hate this song so much. Reason number 1, I just don't like it. It wasn't... Kasumi Evans, I believe is her name, is Rarity's singing voice. I know there are other characters that she voiced. Like, I know she voices Adagio in Rainbow Rocks. And I think there's someone else she voices. I think she voices Moondancer? I could be wrong about that, but I know there's like another character or so that she voices. I love her singing voice. She fucking kills it. But this song just doesn't do it for me. It's like, I didn't find it that catchy or that entertaining. I don't even know how long it is, but it felt long. That's problem number one. I just didn't care for the song itself. Number two, this feels like a weird criticism to say that Rarity is being too generous. Because again, like, she's the element of generosity. We've seen this kind of thing. Like, we've seen her in Suited for Success, where she's like, hey, I want to do nice things for my friends. I'm going to make you your dresses. What y'all want is fucking stupid, but I'm going to give it to you because you're the client, and the client is always right, and I want you to be happy. Like, generosity. Got it. Love it. I don't buy her levels of generosity in this episode. Where it's like every time she runs into the bellhop, she gives him a tip. Even when he's not really doing much or carrying that much, she gives him like big tips and everything. There's a scene where like there's a dude who's a little cold, so she just immediately gives her scarf. It's like, there you go. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I don't know. Do I buy that this is Rarity? I mean, like, a season ago, and it's not like, Rarity had no episodes in season 3, so which is weird. It's really weird. So it's not like she had character development there, but there's an episode in season 3 where she goes camping, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna let my sister fucking carry all of my shit. Where's your generosity there, Rarity? Like, that was pretty fucked up. Do you remember not Spike at Your Service, Just for Sidekicks? I keep wanting to call Just for Sidekicks Spike at Your Service because Spike is like, hey, I'm offering y'all a service. But when he's like, hey, I will look after y'all's pets if you pay me. And Rarity just gives him like the smallest jewel possible. Like, yeah, generosity my ass. And again, you can say it's like, that's more just Rarity being written out of character. And here is her being in character. It's a character derailment. And I think that's fair. But I don't know. It's like they go so hard into making her... the way it comes across to me is it's almost like, oh shit, that's right. Rarity is supposed to be the generous one. And we kind of don't always write her as if she is. Let's go really overboard and over the top with how generous it is. Because this is her key episode. Like, it just feels weird to me. Like, there's this... To use a Rarity quote, although it's not from Friendship is Magic, there was a point where you could have established her as being generous, and I could have believed it, and then you passed it. And then you just kept going, and it bothers me. Which leads to my third problem with the song, because we're still just on the song. There's other problems with the episode. Yeah, there's other problems with the episode. My third problem with the song is when Rarity is talking about, like, one of the best parts of generosity is when you're nice to people and they pay you back in kind. That's not what being generous is. Being generous is I'm doing something for someone because it's the right thing to do. Because I have more than I need, so I'm going to give some of it up. Or this person doesn't have enough, so I might not have more than I need. Maybe I will be the one wanting after it, but I would rather see you happy, so I'm going to do this for you. And I don't want you to pay it back, I want you to pay it forward. That's generosity. What Rarity is describing is like, if I scratch your back, you scratch mine when I need it. That's like good business. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think that's a bad way to live your life. Like, yeah, like I want to be a good person. I want to do good things for people. If I need your help, I hope you can do me a solid. But I mean, hopefully the solid is relatively equal. But I don't know, like, it feels... Maybe manipulative isn't the right word. But the way she talks about it, it makes it seem like there's an ulterior motive. And I feel like if you genuinely have an ulterior motive, you're not really being generous. It kind of rubs me the wrong way. So after the song, Rarity is, like, late to Fashion Week, so they have to get a cab, and they can't get a cab in New York. And Twilight, despite being a literal fucking princess, can't get a cab. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll buy that. I'm like, that's funny. There's a part of me that's like, you really can't even give a fucking princess a cab? That's bullshit. I'm like, no, that's funny. I will let that slide. She gets to Fashion Week. Her shit is all able to get there by the skin of her teeth. And she meets, I think as Yakko Warner would describe it, we've met today's special friend. A mare named Suri Polomer. Okay. And that's her verbal tick. She'll talk and then just, okay. And that's, like, the only thing about her character that I really remember. Like, I remember, like, I kind of remember what she looks like, but it's because she looks like Starlight to me. So when I try to remember Suri, I'm like, is that her? Like, no, I'm just kind of seeing Starlight in my head. Like, what the fuck? She's not, again, like, she's one of those characters, like, she's not particularly funny or that interesting. And I don't even, she's supposed to be like a foil to Rarity. Like, Rarity is someone who's very generous, but Suri is very greedy. She, like, Rarity's line, she asks to borrow some of that fabric for accents, and instead makes an entire line out of it, essentially stealing Rarity's idea so she can throw it off as her own. Getting credit for making something really pretty, but also making Rarity look like the plagiarist. Which, I mean, I don't know if these designs had already been pre-approved, so very potentially by doing that, she could have just fucked herself entirely because other people had seen Rarity's fabric. Like, I'm not as sure about that, but there's very potentially a strong plot hole and reason for her not to do this, but okay. After Rarity gets plagiarized, she goes back to the hotel room with the Remain 5, who are like, dude, New York is badass. We're having the time of our lives. And in a few hours, we're going to go see Henny of the Hills. That's going to kick ass. And then Rarity's crying like, all right, we got to fix this. What's good? Rarity explains the situation and how she's like, to be able to beat the plagiarism allegations, instead of being able to prove that this is my fabric and I lent it to her. And I don't know if these dresses were, like, previously registered or anything. She's like, instead of, like, I can't do anything like that. I would just have to come up with a new line on the spot. So she comes up with a new line on the spot that she calls Hotel Chic, which is just using a bunch of shit in the hotel, like the sheets and making necklaces out of soap. It looks really bad. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. I don't have an eye for fashion. I really don't. I'm just like, that looks cool. That looks pretty. I think that's neat. And, like, 9 times out of 10, when Rarity makes a dress, I'm like, I like that. I think it has, like, a nice looking design. I think it's kind of fun. I think it's super colorful or whatever. I tend to really like her dresses. Hotel Chic looks tacky as fuck. I don't like it. I fucking hate it. And it ends up winning the competition because of course it does. I'm like, no, this looks bad. Like, even her fabric, I don't know. It's too purple. Purple is, like, my favorite fucking color. And even I'm like, I think that's a bit much. I don't know about this, Chief. So that's something I don't really like about the episode. But she's like, okay, have this idea, but we need to work, like, triple time. If you girls help me with this, we can get this done. So she basically turns the hotel room into a sweatshop, which is, like, fucked up, but kind of funny in a dark, like, fucked up way. Also, there's the part of my brain that goes, you're using all this shit from the hotel. You didn't pay them for it, right? Because if you didn't, that's stealing. Which is, you know, the opposite of generous. Like, I'll assume you did. But given the mental state that you're in right now, I don't know if you did, Rarity. And I feel like I have to bring this up because it just kind of bothers me. But anyways, Rarity is working her fucking sweatshop. And the Remain 5 are like, hey, Rarity, so, boy, we don't know how to bring this up without sounding like assholes. But are we going to be able to go to the Broadway show? To which Rarity's response, for all intents and purposes, is, the only reason you're here in town is because I brought you here. The only reason you're going to be able to go to that show is because I bought you tickets. And when I need you most, you would rather go see the show than help me. That's low, guys. That's low. And I know what I was saying earlier about Rarities, like, you know, like the best thing about generosity is when you help someone, they help you back. And how it feels kind of manipulative. I don't want to accuse her of that here. Because it's a really weird situation. And I do love that it's a weird situation. It's one of the few things in the episode I really, really like. Because on the one hand, that's the point of a gift. When you give someone a gift, you give it with no strings attached. I want to give you something because you're my friend, you're my girlfriend, you're my cousin, like whatever the fuck. It's your birthday, it's Christmas. I saw this and I thought you'd like it. There's no strings attached. But also, if you have that close relationship with someone, you're like, I need help. Please. I mean, it's not... It's just a weird situation. But I do love that it's a weird situation. Like, let me try to phrase it in a way where I'm not just going, and I have no words. I love it because to me, there's no wrong answer. Her friend's saying, look, we have been at this for several hours. This is not something any of us have any, like, skill with. We are happy to help you, but we kind of need a break. And we've been looking forward to doing this all fucking day. Can we go see the show? And then when the show is done, we pull an all-nighter. I don't think they're wrong for asking that. I also don't think Rarity is wrong for saying, it's pretty fucked up that you guys want to, like, leave when I need you for this. You're gonna miss your show, but the only reason you would see the show is because of me, and you're abandoning me to go see it. Because deadass, I think if the Remain 5 had gone to see it, none of them would have enjoyed it. Not because the show was bad, they're like, we shouldn't have left. We really, really shouldn't have left. We need to go back. And I genuinely love the complexity of that situation. Now that's what Rarity is trying to say. The way she says it, I can't say it's my favorite line delivery of Rarity of the season, because there is a gold fucking line delivery in Simple Ways. But just her like, oh yes, when I needed you most, you ran away. Or like, blah, 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 blah. She's like, the line that kills me is when she's like, you're gonna watch me go down in flames! Friendship really is magic! The way it's delivered, the way her voice fucking cracks when she says in flames, killed me. It was great. It was phenomenal. But then, you know, she guilt trips her friends, whether deservedly or not, into staying. They help with the thing. They miss the show. Rarity leaves without thanking them. Because, as I think Suri says, like, generosity gets you nowhere in this town. It's every pony for herself, blah, 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 blah. She doesn't thank them. She runs out, delivers the thing to Fashion Week, and ends up winning with, again, I think these really fucking tacky and awful designs. And realizes, oh, shit. Because she sees that her friends aren't there to support her. And instead of being like, fuck them, blah, 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 she's like, of course they're not here. I treated them like shit yesterday. I was a really, really fucking bad friend. I had my friends working at a sweatshop and then told them to go fuck themselves when they didn't want to work in my sweatshop. Maybe I'm an awful person. I need to go. She does not stay for the results of the competition. She doesn't know that she won. She's like, I gotta go see my friends. I gotta go make things right. And she tries to find them, but she doesn't. And she thinks that they already left. I think they just overslept because they were fucking exhausted. But they end up meeting. Suri's like, oh, you lost. Okay. And Rarity's like, it's fine. It's whatever the fuck. And she's able to pull some strings for them to see Hinny of the Hills. Like a special just for them performance because she knows the director and she's done the costume designs and all that. And in exchange for that, she's going to get this really good opportunity, but it's going to keep her out of Ponyville. And Suri's assistant, Coco Pomel, shows up and gives her the trophy. She's like, yeah, Suri fucking lied. She's a piece of shit. And seeing you stand up to her and everything, like, it made me realize how shitty Suri is as a person and how shitty I was for being her assistant and helping her. So I quit. I don't really know what's next for me, what's in store for me, but this was the right decision. And Rarity's like, you know what? I will give you this opportunity of making the designs for like this dude's next show. He's a good friend of mine. You'll be in good hooves if you work with him. Which, again, is one of those things where on the one hand, you're like, that's her being super generous. She's giving away this opportunity. But she even is kind of saying, she's like, it's a really good opportunity, but it also means I'm not going to be in town, and I'm not going to be able to see you guys for, like, months. So maybe it's not the best opportunity. And now it's like, oh, cool. Now I don't have to do it. I'm going to push this off to someone else. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can see that mentality in this episode because it's kind of nasty enough to have that mentality. I don't like this episode. No, I don't. Bro, I was trying to put it in F and it was going to bottom of the fucking barrel. Like, I don't think it's that bad. But I really, really hate this episode. I didn't even think I did. I thought I liked this episode. Like, I was really looking forward to rewatching. I was like, first key episode, Rarity's is great, Coco Pomel is adorable, and I rewatched it. I'm like, I don't like it. Like I said, I like the complexity of that one, like, situation a lot. For me, that and Rarity's line deliveries in that scene are kind of its saving grace. Even Coco Pomel, like, yeah, she's adorable, but she doesn't really get to do much. So it's not even like, man, like, there's a great character in this episode. It's like, yeah, she's okay. I really hate it. I really do. So let's get to an Apple Family episode real quick. Pinkie Apple Pie. This is the episode where Pinkie realizes that she might be related to the Apple family. And the rest of the Apple family are like, wait, really? That's so fucking cool that we get to be related to, like, a good friend of ours. So they take a family road trip to go visit, like, the crazy cat lady record keeper of the Apple family. And there's this joke where there's so much dust and crap in her house that there is a cat made entirely out of dust. And I remembered that joke, and as soon as they got into the house, I started laughing because I remembered that. But the episode is they go on a family road trip, and, to find out if they're really related or not, and they don't really get confirmation because the records are a little jank, but at the end they're like, fuck it, I don't care. If you say we're family and you think we're family, I say it too, and I feel it too. We're family. Get fucked. Come here. And as it goes on, the apples are fighting with each other because they're like, well, Big Mac fucked this up. Well, Apple Bloom fucked this up. And Granny did this dumb shit, but Applejack's dumbass. While also trying to not fight because they want to save face in front of Pinkie to make it seem like it's good to be part of the Apple family. And Pinkie is just taking pictures and scrapbooking their misadventures. And I'm like, yeah, I've been on family road trips. I remember my sister and I used to take bets in the back seat of like, so how long until mom and dad start fighting? I was thinking 3 hours. 3 hours, damn, I was thinking 3 minutes and shit like that. So the fact that the apples all want to kill each other during the road trip, this is so accurate, it's amazing. I think it's just very sweet. It is delightful. We get another great song in this, the we're apples to the core, yup. I think it was at San Diego Comic-Con when this season, before the season came out, there was an animatic of that song. There was a recording of the people watching the animatic, and as the song is playing, the crowd is getting into it, and they're clapping along, they're stomping their feet. And I'm not gonna lie, I like that version of the song more, because I had listened to it before the episode had come out so many times. It was so catchy and I loved it. Put a smile on my face. So hearing it in the episode and not hearing the crowd getting into it and all the clapping and shit, I'm it feels like it's missing something. And given that it's a song about family and belonging to that unit, yeah, the crowd getting into it just adds to it. And so I feel like there's a little bit missing watching the episode, but the song is great, the characters are great, the vibes are great. It's not an S tier episode for me, but it's an easy A. It's just so likable and so pleasant. I love it. And then we get Rainbow Falls, which to me is just worse Wonderbolt Academy. It's not bad. It's not here or here, but I don't know. I just don't get into this episode. I think part of it is just how negative Spitfire is in this episode. I'm like, man, you're a bitch. You're a real piece of shit. I don't really think it's that funny. Even Bulk Biceps, it is, yeah! It's I don't know. They're not as funny here as they were in Hurricane Fluttershy, and I don't know. I think part of me, there's just something really sad about Rainbow Dash Guy. Look, I have to choose between flying for my hometown or my current home. And if I fly for my hometown, I get to fly with my heroes. I get to bring honor to my home. And I can win. And if I don't do that, and I fly for my home and where I live, I am guaranteed to fucking lose. Because I have to carry them. But they're still good people, and one of them is my best friend. So I don't want to let them down and deprive them of getting to compete in the fucking Olympics. But man, it would be great to have teammates that weren't actively bringing me down. I know it's like the element of loyalty, and it's like, yeah, it's, you know, you gotta choose your friends over the ability to win and shit. Like, I don't know. I think what I don't like about this episode is Sweet and Elite exists. Because Sweet and Elite is an episode with Rarity going, what is the better option for me? Hanging out with my friends and going to my friend's birthday, or doing something that genuinely can further my career? And her dilemma about that. And ultimately, like, throughout the episode, she chooses her career. And when her friend finds out that, like, you mean to tell me you're choosing your career over my birthday? Why was this a fucking question? I'm gonna have other birthdays. Go do your shit. Yes, succeed. That's what will make me happy. Like, you want to give me a birthday present? Live your best fucking life, dude. That's what will make me happy. I love that. Like, I remember I kept saying it. Like, I talked a long time about Sweet and Elite. Like, I love Twilight's emotional maturity in that episode. And here, Twilight's like, Rainbow Dash, it's pretty fucking shitty of you to want to win and not hang out with your friends. You know, a thing that would also really further your career and, like, your dreams in life. Like, there's definitely a difference here. Because in Sweet and Elite, like, the only person, like, Rarity would fuck over her friends by not hanging out with them. Here, Rainbow Dash would fuck over Fluttershy and Bulk Biceps by, you know, robbing them of being able to compete in the Olympics. Like, that, she would be genuinely letting other people down. But I feel like Rarity went through a similar, essentially had the exact same episode, but her friends were a lot more forgiving. Like, Twilight in particular was a lot more forgiving of her plight. But when Rainbow Dash goes through it, Twilight's like, no, you're a fucking piece of shit. You have to choose. And you know the only option you're really allowed to pick. I'm like, I don't know. And again, the whole thing of, like, man, maybe the Wonderbolts are kind of shitty and I shouldn't join them, but Spitfire apologizes, so it's okay. Like, but I saw this in Wonderbolt Academy. This is just worse. Like, it's just like Wonderbolt Academy without lightning dust. I don't think it's that good. I don't like it. So the key episodes are 0 for 2. Like, they're not looking so hot. So let's look at Three's a Crowd. So, every time I think of the title of this episode, I think of a very particular scene and line delivery from Tommy Wiseau in The Room, where he and Lisa leave Denny downstairs so they could go up to their room to have sex, and Denny, being Denny, just follows them not only into their room but jumps onto their bed with them. And Tommy tells him, hey Denny, you know, 2 is great, but 3's a crowd. And every time I hear the phrase 3's a crowd, I think of that shit. Here, let me get some water real quick. The actual plot of this episode. Twilight and Cadence are gonna hang out and go to the Star Swirl the Bearded exhibit, where they can geek out about natural history, about, like, you know, history, or all this kind of cool shit. Fluttershy is out of town, so she can go observe the Breezies. More on them in another not very good key episode, if I'm being honest and spoiling shit. Although I will say it's not Fluttershy's fault at all. But Fluttershy, well, okay, maybe a little bit. But anyways, Fluttershy is out of town. So Discord ends up showing up in Ponyville looking blue. Like, I've contracted the blue flu and I need someone to look after me. And, you know, Fluttershy's busy, so she can't do it. And the rest of the remain 5, like, you have Rainbow Dash, who immediately is like, dude, I don't fucking care. I just had an episode about how I gotta be loyal to my friends, but you know what you ain't? My friend. Bye. She just fucking dips. You have Pinkie, who's like, dude, Discord, I know you and I have our problems, but you seem like you're a pretty fucking cool dude. Like, I think we could be friends. I'll hang out with you. In Discord's like, I don't want to deal with Pinkie Pie. Here's a balloon. it's a red balloon, and my brain, I was not thinking 99 red balloons. I was just thinking of it. Hiya, Georgie. Hiya, Pinkie. Don't you want a balloon? So she gets distracted by a fucking balloon, which leaves Rarity and Applejack. And there's the part of my brain that goes, am I going to get an episode about Applejack and Rarity having to deal with Discord? Oh my goodness, can I get this episode? Because this sounds amazing. But he just kind of quickly makes them sick and dismisses them. He's like, there's no one else but Twilight. Oh, and he just wants to ruin her day. Because Fluttershy told him about this shit, so Discord's got it in his head. He's like, dude, Twilight has been looking forward to this day where she could just hang out with her sister-in-law, and I want to ruin it. Because I can. Because I'm a dickhead. I want to make her miserable because I think it's funny. What an awful person. It's great. So he goes to start fucking with Twilight and Cadence. He's like, I'm sick and I need you to take care of me. And Twilight wants nothing to do with it, but Cadence is like, I mean, he needs your help, and you are the princess of friendship. You kind of gotta do it. But the stupid fucking wings and stupid Discord. Fine, I'll fucking do it. So they go back to the library, and Discord sings the glass of water song where he just keeps making more and more and more demands and more pop culture references. For better or for worse, I enjoy them a lot, don't get me wrong, but I'm also like, Discord is turning into the Genie. And I love Genie. Genie is easily one of my all-time favorite Disney characters. But that's not really who Discord was in Return of Harmony. And granted, he's not an antagonist anymore or anything like that, but like, it's, I don't know. I don't know if I feel like Discord becoming more like Genie is kind of taking away part of his identity, you know? But I still have fun with it, so I'm not gonna be that mad or that critical about it. But, Twilight and Cadence end up going to, like, the ends of Equestria to go get this cure, which involves fighting this big-ass worm. And after they do, they go back and find Discord just jumping for joy. And he's like, yes! Yes! I did it! I actually made her go to the ends of the world for me. She really is my friend. She actually cares about me. Oh, Discord. Fuck, what is that line from Steamed Hams? Like, oh, Seymour, you delightful devil. That's basically what Discord said. Discord, you delightful devil. You devious bastard. You made her do it. And Twilight is pissed. Understandably so. And Cadence is like, dude, I had a great time. Bro, I've been doing nothing back at the Empire. I've been so bored. Like, going to the exhibit, like, I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of neat, I guess. This was awesome. I need to do shit like this more. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they were kind of doing something with Cadence in this episode. Like, some of her lines with Discord, like, she can see through his bullshit, but is playing along. And part of it might be because she's being nice. Part of it might be, I'm gonna play along because I kind of want to see where this goes. And her being not... Is that the dogs? I was saying earlier, like, I'm here by myself at night. Like, I'm gonna start hearing demon noises. I started hearing the demon noises. So, if something happens, I don't know, there'll be a live recording of it, I guess. Anyways, I kind of like how they're playing Cadence as someone who's like, I'm gonna go along with the insanity because I want to see where this goes. And I think that's kind of fun. Like, it doesn't really change my opinion of her as far as the wedding goes. She's kind of a nothing burger there. Like, I feel bad for her, but she's kind of a nothing burger. Here, at least, she's kind of fun. Discord is a blast. And again, Twilight just not wanting to be with, not wanting to be there is fucking gold. I don't think there's really anything else to say about this episode. No, I will say, in terms of the overall narrative, what I really like about the episode is that focus on Twilight's relationship with Discord. And how they're friends, quote unquote. Twilight doesn't like him. She has no reason to like him. She still remembers Return of Harmony and all the things he did to her and her friends. He went out of his way to ruin her day that she'd been looking forward to for quite some time. She has zero reason to like him and every reason to hate him. But because she's the princess of friendships, I'm not supposed to hate him. And I hate that I can't hate him, so I have to be his friend and deal with him, especially because he's quote-unquote reformed. So I have to take him at his word, because if I doubt him, it sets a bad precedent, but fuck, I don't want to. It's like, a lot of that is unsaid, excuse me, but I feel it and I see it. And so does Discord. He's like, I'm gonna milk this shit for all it's worth. But at the same time, despite all of the, I want to be a dickhead and ruin her day, despite the, I'm gonna milk this for all it's worth, I feel like at his core, when Discord is celebrating that he got Twilight to go to the ends of the earth for him, part of it is the, Discord, you delightful devil, look at what you pulled off. That's a grade A troll move. Part of it is also, she actually did that for me. I got someone to care that much about me that wasn't Fluttershy. I love Fluttershy. Fluttershy is my homegirl. We go to picnics, we write each other. We genuinely enjoy each other's company. These other 5 fucking despise me. Maybe just these other 4, because, I don't know, Pinkie kind of is, we're kind of cool, but she's a bit much for me. But I know Twilight hates me. But if I can get, I'm gonna ruin her day, and it's gonna make me feel better. But if I can actually get her to care about me, and to like me, and kind of pass my test for her, then I think we're good. And I like that. I like that there's there is room to interpret Discord here. This is a fantastic episode overall. It might not survive the S tier, we'll see, but I'm gonna put it there, man. It's gonna go there for now. How long have I been doing this video? I'm not even halfway through the season yet. I feel like I've been here for quite a while. So I think I'm gonna call it now, after 11 episodes. So what's probably gonna happen is the next time I talk about Season 4, I'll probably get to Inspiration Manifestation, probably break there, and then do Equestria Games and Twilight's Kingdom separately. Maybe I'll be able to do the rest of the season in one go. I would love that, but I feel like it's already been a couple hours. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this now. It is 10:30, and like I said, there might be demons in the house, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the other house and, I don't know, do some shit. I took a nap earlier, so I don't think I'm gonna go to sleep, but we'll see. We'll see. But, you guys have a good night. It is Sunday. I hope you have a good start to your week. I don't know when this video is going to come out, because I want to at least finish the Season 4 one, too. I haven't uploaded Season 3's yet. Well, we'll get to it when we get to it. But I hope whatever you get to, I hope you have great endeavors. I hope Discord doesn't ruin your day. I hope you have a great time with your family. I hope the bats don't eat your food and you have super friends and you just have fun Scooby-Doo antics. I guess. I'll see you.